The French Revolution, not to be confused with France Revolution, was a revolution in France. Thanks for watching. No, but seriously though, let's look into the French Revolution taking place between May of 1789 and November of 1799. Now, what caused the French Revolution to be a thing that actually existed? Well, for one thing, King Louis XVI, or Louis or whatever, was spending all of France's money on things like parties and the American Revolution, causing France to nearly commit Toys R Us bankruptcy. And while the poor were definitely super poor, the rich were also poor in their own rich way. In order to alleviate the poorness of the rich, the king decided to tax the poor. Mind you, he was not only taking money, but also crops, which weren't growing too well thanks to the drought, and all the people's happiness, but that just kinda goes with taking their food. Charles Alexander de Calonne, the Controller General, or a glorified accountant, proposed the idea of a universal land tax, from which the rich wouldn't be exempt. In order to get people to like this idea, he gathered representatives for everyone, clergy, nobility, and the middle class. The meeting was scheduled for May 5th, 1789. Now, because of a flaw with the way the votes were tallied, it wasn't entirely fair. The middle class, Third Estate, was around 98% of the population, but their representatives' vote could be overruled by the other two estates, clergy and nobility, since it would be 2 against 1. The Third Estate didn't exactly like this, and decided to rally for voting by head, not status. And the nobles didn't exactly like having to give up their large amount of power. By the time the meeting rolled around, there was physical violence about the way voting was handled, which kind of overshadowed the meeting. On June 17th, the Third Estate formed their own council and met in a tennis court, taking the tennis court oath, which basically said they would continue meeting until things changed. Parts of the other two estates joined this new assembly, named the National Assembly, and King Louis XVI brought the assemblies together. The National Assembly continued to meet in Versailles, and some crazy crap was going down in the capital. People were excited about the nobility being weakened, but at the same time, people were spreading rumors about a military coup, or forcibly taking power for themselves. With this information, rioters decided to take a bunch of weapons from the Bastille fortress. On August 4th, 1789, the Declaration of the Rights of Man and of the Citizen was adopted by the National Assembly, basically stating the old system of government, monarchy mixed with feudalism, was done so in France and would be replaced by a much less tyrannical government. It was hard to make a constitution, however, because it also had to help overcome difficult economic times. It had to ask questions like, how much power would that awful, terrible, no-good, really bad, horrendous king retain? The Constitution was written in 1791, but it kinda ticked off people like Maximilien Robespierre because the king still had some power over the laws. Many people wanted a much more republican form of government and wanted to put the king on trial for being an idiot. In April of 1792, France declared war on Prussia and Austria, and in August, some people stormed into Paris and arrested the king. Following this, they made the French Republic, doing away with the monarchy altogether. In January of 1793, the king was sentenced to death for treason and crimes against the state. His wife, Mrs. Let Them Eat Cake, suffered the same fate 9 months after. Then, in the next month, all the war and crap brought the revolution into its most violent phase. And then some much more radical people took over and made a new calendar along with getting rid of Christianity. And where's the Spanish Inquisition when you need it? They also killed a lot of people for being against the revolution. The mass killing was headed by Robespierre until he was killed by them. And then, people revolted again against this reign of terror. Then another bit of government was created. I can't give you the details on that because I smudged my notes. But that thing was led by some young and successful general guy named Neapolitan Bonaparte. And financial crisis again. Also corruption. Who would have guessed? Then Neopet Boulevard got rid of the rest of the government and declared himself the Big Cheese. And it was all downhill from there.